All right, so far, Nvidia's revenue, profit, and cash flow has been exploding as a result of the rising effectiveness of artificial intelligence, but mainly in one area, right? Large language models. That's what's been driving primarily the surge in demand for Nvidia's GPUs. But there are several areas on the cusp of breakthrough that could drive a further acceleration in Nvidia's revenue over the next several quarters to perhaps the next several years. And one in particular that I find to be the next big thing, although I don't know how quickly or when it will happen. So let's take a closer look here at some of the different categories that could drive NVIDIA's growth for the next several years and beyond.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
Right. So on February 21st, NVIDIA's management was talking about their multiple application frameworks to help companies adopt AI in vertical domains such as autonomous driving, drug discovery, low latency machine learning for fraud detection or robotics, leveraging their full stack accelerated computing platforms. Each of these areas could prove much more valuable than large language models. I mean, autonomous driving by itself could be multiples larger than the large language models. You think about how much money companies like Walmart, Amazon, Target are spending on truckers just going from one place to another, taking goods, transporting goods. What if there was autonomous trucks, right? How much money would that save Amazon? How much money would that save Walmart? How much would they be willing to pay to implement that technology? That's in the billions, if not tens of billions of dollars just from those two companies alone, let alone all of the other retailers like Target and Home Depot and Macy's and so on, right? So I think autonomous driving, and I didn't even mention with autonomous driving the ride sharing platforms like Uber and Lyft and DoorDash and others worldwide. How much would they be willing to pay to implement this driverless technology? Already, you're seeing companies like Tesla investing aggressively in trying to develop this technology because they see the value in this if they can achieve it and they can be the first to market with the best autonomous driving technology. They can perhaps license it out to others or sell it to others and generate significant revenue and profitability. So that's an area Nvidia is, in right now, but it's not yet mature. It's not yet to the point where it's adding significant value to people's lives, right? Right now, you have some autonomous driving, right? Cars can help you park, and you have cruise control, and you have some lane detection systems, and early warning and early braking. These are valuable to be sure, but nowhere near the value that could be unlocked with complete autonomous driving, which is seemingly several years away, several years away. So when or if this gets implemented could unlock further demand for Nvidia's GPUs. Then you're talking about drug discovery. I mean, that's a category with nearly, I don't want to say unlimited potential, but if you're going to develop drugs, if you're going to develop medicine or health remedies that's going to add years to people's lives or save them from a life-threatening illness, the amount people would be willing to pay for something like that would be, I mean, can you put a limit on that? How much would you spend to save a loved one's life, right? And so you think about the potential there in drug discovery and healthcare. Artificial intelligence could be massive there. And then your machine learning, fraud detection, robotics, other big categories, robotics, warehouse labor. If you could reduce warehouse labor, companies again like Amazon, Walmart, Target, and others that have, million, 1.5, 1.6 million employees, if they can reduce that, of course you're not going to replace humans completely with robots and robotics, but even if you can reduce that by a fraction, it could save your company billions, tens of billions of dollars per year. So Large language model, yeah, I mean, ChatGPT is awesome, but it's nowhere near unlocking the kind of value that some of these other use cases could unlock, which would be a boom for Nvidia. So already almost 80 vehicle manufacturers across global manufacturing companies, new energy vehicles, trucking, robo-taxi, and tier one suppliers are using Nvidia's AI infrastructure to train large language models and other AI models for automated driving and AI cockpit applications. So they're already using Nvidia's GPUs to try and train the system, accelerate it to try and get it to the point where they can get full autonomous driving. They need to do the work to get there. It's not going to happen by itself. You've got to work to get there. You got to collect the data. You got to inference the data. You got to do all of this other stuff before it gets to that point. It's not just going to happen for you. So as these AV, autonomous vehicle algorithms, move to video transformers and more cars are equipped with cameras, we expect NVIDIA's automotive data center processing demand to grow significantly. So that could be the next product category that it's probably at least several years away. But in the meantime, incrementally, NVIDIA is gaining market share in that area. NVIDIA is gaining sales. It's gaining relationships with those original equipment manufacturers, already selling them GPUs, already getting feedback and seeing how they can improve their GPUs for those specific use cases. And it's a positive virtuous cycle. NVIDIA helps the OEMs get closer to driverless car technology, which then increases demand for NVIDIA's GPUs, which then helps them get closer to autonomous vehicles, and on and on and on until they get to that point where they're at full self-driving vehicles. Still, it's not all great news for NVIDIA. It's not all great news. I know there's a lot of talk in the news and the media about how everything is wonderful for NVIDIA, but it's not. And one of the things that's not great is that they're getting restricted as to where they can sell their products. And China is one market that they are restricted now, where China represented a mid-single percentage of their data center revenue in Q4, and we expect it to stay in the similar range for the next quarter. So they've started shipping alternative products to China, but they're not allowed to sell those certain products that require a license to go to China. They're not allowed to send that. And so they're restricted. But for now, it's more than made up for in other areas because they have so much demand, but that's not always going to be the case. So this is a bit of a headwind for Nvidia, and something to keep an eye out for is this restriction to China. And then they're on track to ramp their H200 with initial shipments in the second quarter. Demand is strong as the H200 nearly doubled the inference performance of the H100. So their next generation chip, H200, is nearly double the performance of the H100. So that's going to fuel further demand for NVIDIA's GPUs. Now, I will highlight that, like I mentioned earlier, it's not all great news for NVIDIA. For now, NVIDIA has had the market almost all to itself, right? There's been some competitors, but nothing to a large extent. But competitors are coming. AMD just launched its chip, the MI300X, if I'm remembering correctly. That's starting to gain traction, and enterprises want to give NVIDIA a shot because they don't want NVIDIA to take the significant share of the market, because that gives NVIDIA too much pricing power and it exposes these companies to supply chain risk, with NVIDIA perhaps running out of supply or maybe having some supply chain problem that then hurts the enterprises that are relying on NVIDIA. So they want to give companies like AMD a chance to step in and gain some market share so that there'll at least be some diversification. And then companies like Amazon are producing their own chips that, of course, they're not as great as NVIDIA's chips, but for companies that want a lower priced, not needing the latest and greatest, a more affordable option, it gives them a choice. And so that's going to eat into some of NVIDIA's market share as more and more companies start coming out and trying to take a piece of this market that's proving to be extremely lucrative. And in business, whenever you have an opportunity that's this lucrative, it's rarely going to be the case where one company can dominate by itself. Competition is going to jump in because they see this huge opportunity. However, it takes time for competition to come in to take this market share because Nvidia is so far ahead of everyone else. But over time, competition will come in and Nvidia's growth will slow down. It's almost inevitable, although it seems like Nvidia has done such a great job that competition will have it so much harder. But I suspect Nvidia's lead will decrease over the next few years as competition wraps up. Still, Nvidia has done phenomenally well, and investors in Nvidia stock have been rewarded with that performance. Thank you for watching this video. I truly appreciate it. I know there's a lot you could be doing with your time and a lot of other videos you could be watching. So I truly appreciate that you chose to watch this one. If you want to see more videos just like this, hit the subscribe or the like button. They'll both help me make more videos just like this one. Thank you again.